Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. In studio with me is a book, and it's called Curing Hopeless Voices. I'm the only doctor in the world reporting cures of spasmodic dysphonia of the strangled voice. Henry Fonda had the condition. Shadow Stevens, the national personality, had the condition. Keith Erickson had the condition. They're all cured by what I do is direct voice rehabilitation. This book is free on my website, voice-doctor.com. It's free. Read the book, and it will explain who and what and how things are going on and why the medical profession prefers to guarantee there are no cures to the condition. Just a few minutes before we went on this program, part two, this young man, Nick, who's the cameraman, I showed how he can get the strangled voice in 60 seconds. Get the strangled voice. So if you don't know why the cause is Mother Nature, you're violating Mother Nature, then let me explain to you. You can prove to yourself you can get the strangled voice in 60 seconds, and then you can get out of it if you know what to do. Blow out all the air. Blow out all the air you have, and then count aloud to 50, slowly and loudly. Blow out all the air, count aloud to 50, slowly and loudly. And in 60 seconds, you basically will have the strangled voice. Your eyes will begin to show pressure, your face, and your neck muscles. Why? Because strangled voice cases, such as those who experience the problem, don't talk on air, believe it or not. They reverse the breathing. They don't use air. It's like trying to drive the car, a normal car, without gas. If it's a hybrid, it will work. The strangled voice, the spasmodic dysphonic voice, is caused by a violation, a pollution of Mother Nature's edict. Breathe when you talk. Breathe when you talk. Believe it or not, patients with the strangled voice and other troubled voices do not breathe when they're talking. You cannot talk without air. It's impossible. Now, the issue is you're told by the medical profession, my colleagues. I served on the staff and faculty at UCLA Medical Center for 8 years under Jack Pressman, and he said I was the best voice doctor he ever knew. I'm a PhD. I specialize in voice. And I find that voice problems are caused by a pollution, a violation of Mother Nature's use. Talk on air and talk in the face. Did you know that 90+% of people who have a bad, raspy, troubled voice are talking in the lower throat, that's deep throat? They're talking like this. They have that voice problem because they're talking wrong. The medical profession and my colleagues are of the view that bad and raspy voices are neurological, that there's something wrong with you, and they treat it medically. My answer to their approach is to tell the patient, change the way you're using your voice. I wrote a book called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. It's in the 19th printing right now. It's going into the 20th printing. And you can get it in the library, free. It's free in the library. This book, Curing Hopeless Voices, an alternative to Botox. Botox for spasmodic dysphonia, and they also use it for muscle tension disorder. Botox is a state-of-the-art in the treatment of choice in the medical profession. For whom? I find it's the choice because that's what they do. They're well-intentioned, but that's what they're doing. I'm going up to UC San Francisco to talk about how I help cure spasmodic dysphonia. And I'm trying to tell the speech pathologists and the ear, nose, and throat doctors how I do it. I've been to UC San Francisco. In 1998, I reported cures there. They gave me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 4 lasting cures, 3 from UCLA Medical Center, 1 from the Mayo Clinic. This time they're giving me almost 2 hours. The situation is changing. Mother Nature is coming and getting its due in what I'm doing called direct voice rehabilitation. What I do is all natural. I change the focus of the voice by changing the pitch. Pitch is a very simple modality. I help patients to change the pitch. They're talking in the lower throat. When you change, you put your voice up in your face, it opens the lower throat, and the strangled strain and the bad and raspy voices markedly disappear. I've reported in peer review, in medical journals, in my field, the American Speech Language Hearing Association. But what I do is off the radar screen. It's all natural, and it's simple. And here's something that you should consider. You can do it for yourself. You can do it for yourself. You can try. You can't hurt yourself. It's all natural. Hum the first bar of Happy Birthday. Just hum it. And you'll find that your voice basically goes up into the face where all good and great voices are. The medical profession is telling you to take acid reflux for as long as you can or will. They believe acid reflux is causing bad, raspy voices and also contributing to the strangled voice. I don't. Clinically, I find it's not real. The study was sponsored by Merck in 1992, telling you bad and raspy voices are due to acid reflux. My answer to them is poppycock. But they run the show. And I see the patients who have tried acid reflux drugs for months and years, and they tell me ongoingly it hasn't helped the bad and raspy voice. It's good for heartburn and indigestion. I have no argument with that. But when they extend the market to bad and raspy voices or spasmodic dysphonia, I'm off their boat. What am I talking about? I'm talking about self-help. Self-help. Go to the library, change your voice, change your life. Stop committing voice suicide. You're committing voice suicide by the way you talk. You have no awareness of where you should place your voice. You're holding your breath when you talk if you have the strangled voice. You're reversing it. These are very simple Mother Nature answers to how to get a better, more effective voice. Doesn't cost you any money. So I'm stepping on the toes of those who are in the medical profession and who are in academia. Speech therapy never works, never reports a single cure for the strangled voice, never. The American Medical Association on its websites in this country guarantee there are no cures. Recently there was a program, Medical Mysteries, which told you that there are no cures, it's a neurological problem. Dr. Paul Flint, a very fine ear, nose, and throat doctor, well-intentioned, told us in a major program that spasmodic dysphonia is a neurological problem. My answer to Dr. Flint is very simple. Poppycock, doctor. There are cures. I've been reporting cures for years and years, over 35 years. Since they guarantee there are no cures in the medical profession, in academia in my field, they guarantee it. And the drug company, Allergan, that funds basically the National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, that, I'm sorry to tell you, is influential and basically the only source the American Speech Language Hearing Association used to determine that Botox is a treatment of choice. This association, the NSDA, National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, is basically funded by Allergan. And it's their view that there are no cures of spasmodic dysphonia. I'm reporting the cures. The interesting aspect to all of this is that my field, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, has banned the book Curing Hopeless Voices on false grounds, saying I guarantee cures. I never guarantee anything. I can't guarantee we'll be alive tomorrow. But the American Medical Association in this country, the establishment, my field, ASHA, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, and the establishment guarantees there are no cures. It is run, ASHA is run, I write in this book, page 111 to 117, that my field is run by the National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, the only source that reviewed the position on spasmodic dysphonia when it had the review. It claims through its president, Sherry Logerman in 1994, that they had three sources: Ani Aronson of the Mayo Clinic and Christy Ludlow of the NIH, National Institutes of Health. Both Ani Aronson, Dr. Aronson, an icon in the field, and Dr. Ludlow, in writing, state they were not involved. It's interesting what's going on. The cover-up of cures is one interesting aspect. You want to know how to get the strangled voice? Blow out all the air and try to talk aloud for 60 or 50 seconds, slowly, and you will get the strangled voice. Try it. And then go back to your normal voice and breathe properly. Just breathe and talk on air. Let's listen to cures of spasmodic dysphonia, cures of a condition that the medical profession worldwide guarantees does not exist, that my field, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, prevents its members, well over 100,000 members, to know there are cures. And Allergan, the Botox maker, is telling us there are no cures as well. When there are cures, I've had peer review in 1980. I continue to report ongoing cures. I report the cures at Cedars-Sinai in 1982 and 1990, re-invited at Fallon, the #1 HMO in the country. And I'm going up to UC San Francisco again, having been there in 1998 for 2 minutes to report cures, 3 from UCLA Medical Center and 1 from the Mayo Clinic. I've reported cures of spasmodic dysphonia diagnosed by the top ear, nose, and throat doctors at UCLA Medical Center on the staff and faculty, over 15 cures. Let's listen to the cures of spasmodic dysphonia that the medical profession, academia, my field, and Allergan guarantee does not exist.
And I took a round of antibiotics.
This lady was, young lady was diagnosed at UCLA Medical Center by the chairman, Dr. Burke, with SD.
I feel good, but the voice has been a mess ever since.
I'm commission sales at Sears, and that's my livelihood, is my voice. I got so depressed just not being able to talk that it definitely affected my life.
This voice was coming out.
This patient was diagnosed by Dr. Ed Cantor, foremost ear, nose, and throat doctor in Los Angeles, SD.
Cooper, I was using my voice again to the extent that I could go out on interviews and auditions, and shortly thereafter actually worked.
You can hear
This
the
patient was diagnosed UCLA head and neck
starting
division,
to obstruct now.
spasmodic dysphonia.
This is the new voice.
There is that aspect of lightening up, but there also is an aspect of having the correct pressurization.
This patient was diagnosed by a top ear, nose, and throat doctor, UCLA Medical Center.
I said, but when I talk
SD.
in my regular voice, you can't understand what I'm saying. I had a strangled voice. It was very difficult to speak. When I did speak, it sounded strangled.
Before I had worked.
Patient diagnosed by Henry J. Rubin, one of the foremost ear, nose, and throat doctors with spasmodic dysphonia.
And he continued to make overtures.
To pick her up before too late and take her home. Do I feel that I'm likely to go back to it? No, I don't.
This patient was diagnosed by the Mayo Clinic with spasmodic dysphonia.
And he says, well, Ron, I'll give you 3 options too. He says, you can continue coming here for shots. You can call that doctor in California to schedule a surgery if you'd like. And then he goes, oh yeah, by the way, Ron, there's also this other guy. Go to his website, and he wrote down his name, thevoicedoctor.com, and handed it to him. And he says, check out this guy. He says he has a cure.
And so I found on
This patient was diagnosed UCLA Medical Center by Dr. Burke, spasmodic dysphonia.
Was very often spasmodic dysphonia, and they call it, multifocal dystonia.
And I, as a patient who has experienced the fear and agony of thinking that my voice is disappearing.
It just got really bad lately.
This patient was diagnosed by a top ear, nose, and throat doctor, UCLA head and neck division. spasmodic dysphonia.
I didn't think that it could be so simple, but it was.
When sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act like a prism and form a rainbow. When the sunlight strikes
Patient
raindrops...
was diagnosed with spasmodic dysphonia. New voice.
Gradually through.
Patient was diagnosed by Paul Ward, chairman of the Head and Neck Division,
Progressively worse.
UCLA Medical Center. Spasmodic dysphonia.
Within a matter of days, it would occur.
This is the patient's recovered voice. The mastoid muscle.
And then I'd go in and start talking to my boss, and at the end of like a sentence, it would start dropping. And he'd say, what's wrong with your voice? And I'd say, I don't know.
I thought, what's happened? What have I done to myself? I know no one out there has this horrible problem I've got. But I found out there's an awful lot of people walking around out there in this world that have the spastic dysphonia.
Patient was diagnosed at UCLA Medical Center, Dr. Burke at USC, with spasmodic dysphonia. Here's the new voice, cured.
It's pretty tragic, isn't it? Pretty tragic sound, and it's quite different now.
The last time
Patient diagnosed at UCLA Medical Center, Head and Neck Division.
Unit each and Botox. I completely lost my voice for 6 weeks. I was incapacitated. It was a complete roller coaster going through that, you know, but that's the only treatment that they told me was available, and that I would be getting these injections for the rest of my life.
Couldn't think of any name, and my sister and I were
Patient was diagnosed at Scripps with spasmodic dysphonia.
tail, and I just said, oh yeah, wouldn't that be if I called it Q-tip? So we just called it Q-tip.
Can we talk with the rabbit again?
Hi Q-tip, how are you? Do you want to hop around today? Are you thirsty? Why did you bite my shoe?
Do you realize you change your voice when you talk to the rabbit?
I talked higher.
Who diagnosed?
Scripps Hospital in La Jolla. Probably about a year and a half ago. They told me that it was neurological and I was born with it.
Other than the one time from Bryn where I had 6 months good voice, nothing.
They believe that spasmodic dysphonia is curable.
According to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it.
Patient was diagnosed by Hans von Leyden, a top ear, nose, and throat doctor at UCLA Medical Center now, or was, and USC.
Oh, he's ground.
This patient was diagnosed at the University of Michigan by a top ear, nose, and throat
Didn't know
doctor.
what to do,
You'll hear the
they
transition from the poor voice, strangled voice, to a good voice.
Eventually I went
She's been cured for over 9 years.
other doctors who told me I had spasmodic dysphonia.
Trying to get help is very difficult because you can't communicate the problem or just your trials. They want you to go to psychiatrists, and how are you supposed to go to psychiatrists when you can't speak?
Well, and then he said, well, how long ago did you see Dr. Cooper? And I went, oh my God, it's been 6 years. It'll be 6 years in June.
Diagnosed at a top
You remember that voice?
medical doctor with spasmodic dysphonia.
I didn't like it then, didn't like it now.
Cured.
That's to help.
Diagnosed at the Mayo Clinic.
My voice.
Top icon in the field, Ani Aronson.
100%,
Cured for 25 years by direct voice rehabilitation.
After about 2 years, it started to again go worse and worse.
I hope that by sharing, others too will find new hope for a life that allows them that greatest gift that God has given us, the gift that makes us human, that gift we call communication.
If you have the strangled voice, you know somebody who has a strangled voice, suggest they take a look. It's free on my website. Free. The book is free. You print it out. It's called Curing Hopeless Voices. We're talking about the strangled voice, spasmodic dysphonia. That are guaranteed, these patients are guaranteed there are no cures. You're just seeing some of the cures, some. I report a number of cures covering 35 plus years by all natural Mother Nature help. All natural Mother Nature. If you misuse your voice and you're told whether it's a muscle tension disorder or a raspy voice or a troubled voice, you can't get help, think about Mother Nature's help. It's very simple. Hum the first bar of Happy Birthday. You'll feel the change from the lower throat, or if you're too high, it will come down, basically. Learn to breathe. These techniques are for your use. They're free. Look at my website, voice-doctor.com. I'm trying to help the public to understand Mother Nature can help your voice if you're losing it. Mother Nature can help you to improve your voice if you want to improve it. The techniques are very simple. They're Mother Nature. They're all natural. Doesn't cost you a cent. Go to the library, get the book, Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. It's free. It's in the 19th printing, heading to the 20th printing. It tells you how to get a better, more effective voice, simply, all naturally. It's Mother Nature. Do I step on the toes of those who want to use medical intervention, invasive procedures? I guess so. But the Hippocratic Oath says, do no harm and natural healing, not draconic implants and not surgical procedures that may not be relevant. Spasmodic dysphonia is a terrifying condition. It is rumored to have a high suicide rate. Rumored. I don't know how true it is, and I don't know to what extent it's occurring. But I hear patients who are in the office telling me when they're in the office they thought about killing themselves because they couldn't talk. The gift of communication of the Reverend James Johnson, the last person on the Curing Direct Voice Rehabilitation Program, is telling us that we're living in a talking society, and if you can't communicate, you're in deep doo-doo. The problem that we have to face in our society is that we're trained in a certain modality. The medical profession is trained to do invasive procedures and to do surgical procedures and implants. My approach is that they're essential, they're first line of defense, and they're well-intentioned. But they're not giving choice of treatment. That's the key. That's the issue. The patients with troubled voices are not told there's an all-natural approach to getting out of their troubled voice. And here are the techniques. Simply say as though you spontaneously and sincerely agree with what is being said. If your voice is too low in the throat, and basically most voices troubled are too low in the throat, I would say about 99% of them that have pathology are too low in the throat. All strangled voices, spasmodic dysphonia, all of them, medical profession, and I agree, are in the lower throat. My medical colleagues, my academic colleagues, maintain that the strangled voice is caused by some neurological problem which is not found. The book Stop Committing Voice Suicide, I write, is in the library. You can get a copy of it, free. And it tells you, it's on my website in part, that you're talking wrong. You're polluting, you're violating Mother Nature. You're talking in the lower throat. Spontaneously and sincerely. And you'll feel your voice going up to the face. When those with strangled voices try to talk, they're basically trying to talk without air. It's impossible to talk without air. It's like trying to drive the normal car without gas. It's like trying to drive the normal car without air in the tires. My take on the whole situation with the strangled voice and what is called muscle tension disorder, it's called myasthenia laryngeus as well, it has different names, is that troubled voices, bad raspy voices and strangled voices, are caused by misuse, natural violations of what Mother Nature wants you to do. And the medics are looking to it as a problem, a neurological problem, a basal ganglia dysfunction, a chemical imbalance in the brain, and they're looking according to, and this gentleman is well-intentioned, Blitzer, and he is a colleague of Michael Bryn, a neurologist who brought Botox to the field. He's looking now to, and I'm quoting him, Andrew Blitzer, this is from my book, page 29, MD, and Christy Ludlow, PhD, she's with the NIH, all well-intentioned and great personalities and great people, are of the view that strangled voices, spasmodic dysphonia, I'm reading that now, SD, is a neurological problem. Andrew Blitzer, MD, states, I'm quoting now, current methods of treating the symptoms, not the disorder. I'm repeating that, treating the symptoms. I agree that treating the symptoms, but not the disorder, not the cause. The cause, explaining, is due to natural misuse. They're saying it's due to a neurological cause. I'm going on now, quoting. Botox is the best symptomatic treatment we have at this moment until we're able to manipulate the brain. Manipulate the brain. That's in the National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association newsletter, volume 12, number 2, October 2003. They're going to the brain to do surgery. Manipulate the brain. Manipulate the voice. Just change the focus of the voice to the face from the lower throat. It can be done in seconds. Then it takes doing for the individual to do it and get breath support. My approach is non-medical. My approach is very simple. It's Mother Nature. And it helps me to help those who have the condition to find a cure to spasmodic dysphonia when they fully cooperate. You're listening to a program called Mother Nature's Voice Cures. It's all simple. It's all direct. And that's the key to what I'm doing. Speech therapy tells you drink lots of water, poppycock. Speech therapy tells you to use H words, poppycock. Speech therapy in the medical profession say you have acid reflux, take drugs for it. Doesn't seem to work for the patients who've done it from what I see clinically. And speech therapy tells you to do this and do that. It's called indirect. And speech therapy never reports a single cure. According to Henry J. Rubin, who was on the faculty at UCLA Medical Center, I believe, he asked me in 1990 at Cedars-Sinai when I presented cures, patients who had been cured, why I'm the only speech therapist that reports cures. And I answered, Henry, I don't do speech therapy. I do direct voice rehabilitation. Find out what I'm doing and help yourself if you can. Try it out. It's another approach. It's Mother Nature's approach, and it can do wonders for you. Try it. I'm Mort Cooper, Mother Nature's Voice Cures. Look it up on voicedoctor.com and see it's all free, this book, and the cures you saw just a few moments ago on this program. Thank you. Bye-bye.